In the inner world, the scholars, they describe different entities that essentially exist in your inner world. One of them is the qalb, is the heart. The qalb is mentioned often in the Quran. Right at the beginning of Surah Baqarah, when Allah Ta'ala talks about the Quran, He talks about, when Allah Ta'ala starts the Quran, He mentions that the qalb, and He mentions the people who have sickness, fi qulubihim marad, that people who have sickness in their hearts. So the heart is at the center. And then below the heart, this is how we can visualize it, you have the nafs. The nafs is the lower self, it's the ego. It's the part in us that even when shaitan is not here, it still commands to evil for the most part. It's the part in us that's the seat of desire, of anger, of sexual appetite. All these different desires that the human being has, this is the nafs. The nafs you can think of as pointed downwards towards the dunya and towards the lower realms. And the shayateen, their point of influence is the nafs. They're constantly trying to get the nafs to become more and more evil so that it can corrupt the heart. Everything that the nafs has, it colors the heart. The heart is in the middle, the nafs is at the bottom. Then you have the ruh. The ruh is the spirit. The spirit is pointed up towards the heavens, essentially. And this is the locus of the spiritual realities that you and I receive. Allah mentions the spirit, and it's not something that's easy for us to understand, but the scholars of the sciences, they've expanded upon the ruh, the spirit, the animating spirit that gives life to the human being. And this spirit, when goodness comes down, when you attain the mercy of your Lord, when you, quote unquote, get spiritual, all of the things, when done properly and according to the Sharia, they go through the spirit and they impact the heart. And this is now how the heart is purified, that the nur is transmitted from the ruh to the qalb, and through the dhulumat, the darknesses of this dunya and the darknesses of the shayateen, they go from the nafs to the heart. Now the good thing in Ramadan is the doors, as the Prophet ﷺ mentions in one narration, the doors to the hellfire are shut. The gates are shut. The shayateen, they're all locked up in prison right now. They're all locked up, except the human shayateen, like the Zionists. They're still around. But the rest of the shayateen, they're all locked. These are human shayateen, these people. These Western people who continue to commit oppression against the Muslims and laugh about it. A'udhu billah. This is worse than the shayateen al-jinn. That there are human shayateen. They will be locked up in the next life. But in this life, during this month, the shayateen al-jinn are locked up, as according to one narration. So what happens then? This door to the hellfire, which is the door of darknesses, which can color your heart in the wrong color, the dark color, it's gone. And the nafs in Ramadan is under a very, very, very tight control. Why? Because food is the main desire of the nafs. The first desire, Imam Ghazali, he mentions this in the Ihya. The main desire of the nafs is food, and then the next key desire is the sexual appetite. Guess what? Both are limited in Ramadan. That food intake is limited, and the sexual appetite, permissible sexual appetite, is even that is limited in Ramadan, let alone obviously something that's haram. And so now the nafs is already under control, and they say one of the best ways to get the nafs under control, because it's like an animal. When you want to get an animal under control, we don't live in agrarian societies anymore, but they used to limit the food intake of the animal to get the animal under control, and then they would discipline the animal. The nafs is bestial.